So I didn't necessarily intend to record a video right now, but feels like the right thing to do, and I hope the video isn't lagging as bad as it looks like it is. I hope that's just an encoding thing. If it is, I'm sorry in advance, but just know that I hope this video will be very much worth listening to. It's time to start thinking about where to go from here. What next? As you can see before here we go, I'll just screw the exposure a little bit. It's partly cloudy. Sun hasn't quite hit the horizon yet. 8 a.m. Sun's kind of up, but not really up. Sunshine shining down yet, but it does look like it'll be here later, and that's kind of truth and microcosm of the day and how I feel. I'm not to the point where I'm happy yet, but at least I feel like I can see it from here finally. And I'm sorry if I get emotional during this video. Once I start getting into the meat and potatoes of it, it'll make sense why. But let's just say that I've had a few revelations this morning. Add a little bit of light, and I'm going to go back to auto exposure. Auto exposure also looks like it took care of the lag on the camera, mostly, so it is what it is. I will drop the shades behind me to help with that. So it's going to get loud for a minute, probably. I don't know. I actually haven't checked how badly these pick up on my mic. I could probably work on setting the noise gate, and eventually I might, but the truth is, eventually I'm going to be recording from my other computer upstairs once I get my head out of my ass and get my room done. Now, today's kind of hit me in the feels in a lot of ways because when I went to bed last night, I had done some thinking, and I realized I doubt for a while that I'm ever going to be the type to get up in the morning and work out. I need to fall back in love with it first to begin with. That's not going to be me because I am a night owl through and through. I hate mornings. So I went to bed when I was laying down before I fell asleep, which was at, again, like 2 a.m. because I'm an idiot. I had the goal of figuring out a workable solution. Maybe not all the details, but at least the broad strokes. Didn't do that because I fell asleep. That and my focus is still something I'm struggling with, and I really don't quite know why. I had never really been. Sorry, cleaning a few crumbs off my desk. I had never really been the type to struggle with focus, but now I swear to freaking God, I got ADHD. That's like, 1, 2, Z, Q, P, squirrel, old MacDonald had a E-I-E-I-O. Uh-oh. Just all over the freaking place. That's just one of the things I'm going to work on, and I think the reason for that is that I've never truly been this overwhelmed in my life. But I digress from that. I am working on the plan, working on figuring out really and truly where to go from here. Just my daughter letting me know she got to school. Okay. She's a good kid about that, at least. I gotta give her that much. She's really good about letting me know when she gets, if there's 3 destinations, she lets me know when she gets to the first one. She lets me know before she leaves the first one. Ditto the second one, ditto, third one. That way I don't worry. Or at least I know when to worry that she's hasn't checked in X amount of time. Now, a friend of mine posted this thing that basically says, it was this guy that it was his 32nd birthday. Which the irony is I'm 10 years his senior here in 2 weeks. And he said, over the last month, I've asked several 90-year-olds give what advice they would give to their 32-year-old selves. Here's the life advice everyone needs to hear. And this is where, as I said, I might get a little emotional. Um, you know, I think everybody at a certain point in time starts to realize their own mortality in a lot bigger way and starts to truly think about where they fucked up in life. And yeah, it hits kind of hard. But here goes. Certain ones I'll talk about, and other ones I'll just say and leave it at that. Number one, now and then break out the fancy china and drink the good wine for no reason at all. Well, I don't really have fancy china. Not much of a wino, but I do drink the good stuff from time to time. I do have, you know, Crown Royal. I got a very expensive bottle of it that I've yet to open that. That's more a function of just I haven't wanted sipping whiskey yet. I am the type that every once in a while will take the rocks glass, and I got the fridge when I bought it. It had the nice little perk of making the ice balls for just putting in the rocks glass and floating in some whiskey. So yeah, at some point I can do that. It's just I haven't had the desire to do it. Of even for no reason at all, you still need to desire it. I guess is what I'm saying. Dance at weddings until your feet. Number two, dance at weddings until your feet are sore. Haven't been to one in the vow renewal was the last one that I can think of. But sure, I think I can do that. Just requires being invited to one. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Tell your partner you love them every night before falling asleep. Someday you'll find the other side of the bed could be empty, or will be empty, and you'll wish you could. Well, I relate to that and don't relate to that. I relate to that in the fact that the other side of the bed is empty. And I wish I had a partner to tell every night that I love them. I can tell you that there wasn't very many nights that I didn't do that with my ex-wife. Or any of my girlfriends for that matter. That is something that, I may screw up in a lot of this list. But that one I got right, I think. Don't fear sadness, as it tends to sit right next to love. Yes, but from where I'm standing, it's usually on the wrong side of it, if you know my meaning. But that being said, I've been putting off for far too long working through my sadness, and that is going to be a combination of a personal thing done offline, as well as I probably will record a video um, with some of the lessons that I learned along the way on that path, because working through sadness is something I think a lot of us struggle with. Treat your body like a house that you have to live in for another 70 years. Yeah, I need to do that. I definitely need to do that. Never raise your voice, except for at a ball game. I definitely raise my voice at ball games, not when I'm physically at. I mean, well, I would when I'm physically at them too. Just haven't been to one in a while. But definitely, I'll tell you, this past weekend when the Bills played, it's the first game since Damar Hamlin, died on the field and was brought, resuscitated. But the opening kickoff, when Naheem Hines took that 96 yards for a touchdown, that, as the saying goes these days, hit different. That was a almost animalistic release that one was. That was different. The fact that it had been 3 years and 3 months since a Buffalo returner returned to kick for a touchdown, and Damar wears number 3 is just cherry on top of the sundae, I guess. But in general, I'd say, yeah, I don't really raise my voice, barring when I absolutely need to. Do one good deed every single day, but never tell anyone about it. That's a little bit harder with working at home, but it's definitely a goal to think about and be mindful of. And I think it's for all of us because the world could use more good deeds. Number 8, time doesn't heal anything when it comes to relationships. Do not delay difficult conversations. Yep, and I usually try not to. But it takes 2 to tango on that one, so. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. Number 9, and this is a big one, at least for me personally. Find the things that make your eyes light up. Do more of those. Lately, nothing's made my eyes light up. I've lost the joy in life. Just talking about it has helped already. I can already kind of feel almost like I've been in a vice and that it's easing. It's not gone, and it probably won't be gone, possibly ever. But it's easing, and that's something. Number 10, always remind yourself that your track record for making it through your worst days is perfect. You know, it's put another way, you've survived 100% of your worst days so far. You're batting 1,000, kid. Sometimes I do wonder how. At least for me. Number 11. If something has a minor issue, repair it. Minor issues become major issues over time. This applies equally to things, house, home, cars, as well as love, friendships, and health. That one I need to work on. You know, being the fat guy, not even really a minor issue anymore. It's something I need to work on and need to be more honest with myself about too. Which is a perfect segue into number 12. The most damning lie that you can tell is the lie you tell to yourself. You are and always will be your own worst enemy. You will always make the most convincing excuses for why that wrong action is okay for you to do. You will always find the most logical and sane, and the justifications you make will always resonate the strongest with yourself. There's an old saying, I actually have it tattooed in Latin on my right bicep. He who conquers himself conquers all. And what that means is the day that you stop buying your own bullshit excuses and start holding yourself accountable, there's nothing you cannot accomplish. It's entirely up to you. Number 13. No one has ever argued their way to happiness. Very, very true. Very, very astute. And these 90-year-olds are treasures for stuff just like that. You know, it's so simple. I mean, what is it, 10 words? But it's something that so many people miss. It's truly astounding. Number 14, and this one I kind of smile and chuckle about because I definitely agree. If you're going to lose a fight, make sure the other person thinks twice before fighting you again. If they're going to win, make sure that they pay a price so they don't come back for round 2. That way you don't have to worry about losing another fight, so to speak. Number 15, getting old is no picnic, but it is much better than the alternative. Dying young is never a good thing. Number 16, you may occasionally disappoint others, but make sure you never disappoint yourself. I'll be damned if that one ain't a kick in the nuts because of how true it is and how much it hits home. That's something I'm going to work on. Number 17, never let a good friendship atrophy. Send the text, make the call, plan the trip. Good friendships should be treasured. Yep. Number 18, when you meet someone, look them in the eye, give them a firm handshake, and call them by their name. Once upon a time, that was just called respect. And the truth is, I think it still is. And still, the world would be a better place if there was more of it. Number 19, give everybody a second chance. People make mistakes. I just had that part in, but give everybody a second chance, but never a third. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I must be an idiot. With my ex-wife and what I went through, guilty. Number 20, the good old days are always happening right now. May not feel like it, but wherever you are in life, there's something in that day to be treasured, something in that day that at some point in your life you'll look back and miss. It may seem like it's the worst day, the worst time of your life. I mean, I know logically this is not the worst time of my life. I've slept in my car. I've slept on a concrete floor with my coat as a pillow. You know, I've had truly, truly low, truly bad days. The day I found out I'd been cheated on for the first time and realized what I'd become. But when I look back, like on the being homeless, effectively, I mean, I wasn't completely homeless, but I was effectively homeless. Um, when I look back on that, there are things that I miss. Simplicity of life. Being able to see the good in people because of people that helped me. So no matter how bad the day seems when you're in it, there'll come a point in time that you look back and you might miss just one thing. That's enough. That's enough for in that moment when you're missing that one thing for that to be the good old days. Number 21. Whenever you hug someone, make sure they're the one to let go first. If they're worth hugging, they're worth letting know how much they matter to you. That's just a little thing you can do. If it's raining on a warm summer evening, go outside and dance in it. Actually, I have a video this past summer. My kids weren't necessarily dancing in it, but they were definitely out there playing in it. It's the way the driveway, the way the concrete for the pad that is the beginning of the driveway from the house out is that it's got a fairly good size river channel type setup to it. And it was raining hard enough that it was basically a river. They were like laying down and just splashing around in it. And had a good time. So it's always fun to dance in the rain sometimes. Number 23, and this is a huge one. Something that nobody ever believes until they learn this one the hard way. I don't think there's a human in history that learned this one from being told it, but I'm going to try anyways in this video. Taking no risk is the biggest risk you can take. Regret from inaction is always more painful than regret from action. Those may be the single truest words spoken in human history. I will never regret the things that I do, only the things which I did not have enough courage to try. You know, for some tangible ones that maybe sink it in. And you can say that these, because of what they are, well, yeah, that could have went the other way, blah, 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 whatever. But at the end of the day, it was something I truly believed in my heart was a worthwhile risk, and I didn't take them. And I've regretted it ever since. Number 1, during the housing bubble burst, when the stock market kind of crashed back in 2000, I want to say it was like 2006 through 2008 that this kind of went through. It was back when I still made a little enough money that we would get good sized tax refunds from the earned income credit. And one year we got a pretty big refund. And I was going to take $5,000 and invest in certain companies. And this was, I want to say probably, I could look up when, because I know certain companies' prices at that point. It was back during the automotive bailouts. That was a big part of it. But I wanted to take $5,000 and invest because I knew it was one of those rare chances that there were certain things you could see if you were looking. Oh, excuse me, that made too much sense not to go up, not to come out the other side making money. This is back around the time that Amazon.com traded around, I think the lowest I remember seeing it is just over $30. I may have seen it down to 28, but I know for sure I saw it right around $30 and some pennies. Ford traded for like $1.40 to $1.70 a share. You know, there were things like that. Caterpillar was low as well, and those were 3 companies that I wanted to take and invest that $5,000 in. Simple reasons why. Caterpillar was the riskiest of the three, but it was because they were claiming, oh, we need to focus and rebuild our infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. Well, Caterpillar built the equipment that built the infrastructure, so kind of made sense. Ford was a big one, and it was one that was so logical that it just, I should have. They were the only one not to take a bailout from the government. I knew that was going to reflect good on them. I knew that was going to curry investor sentiment, and obviously it meant that their balance sheet was not that bad in comparison to others. And the big one, keep in mind that before this time, I lived in New York and then Vermont. The average gas price was like, maybe in those states, was $1.40 to $1.60 a gallon. $1.60 was getting high. Suddenly, what felt like overnight, gas prices shot up to, well, I think they were $5 a gallon for a little bit there in Vermont. And it just made so much sense with technology becoming prevalent. Amazon.com was going to grow and be huge. People were going to shop more online. They were going to look for ways to avoid using gas. So, it was one of those, again, makes too damn much sense not to work. Yet, I let myself be talked out of it. Because there were people who were like, well, no, you shouldn't invest, you should use that to pay off debt, blah, 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 blah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, that is a great strategy, but I was still already at that point in time using a bunch of money to pay off debt. I could have afforded to take this quote unquote risk. And at the time, I used Google Finance as a tool to see. And let's just say that obvious things have happened since then. I mean, Amazon went to a point where they were trading at like $3,000 a share. Ford was, I haven't looked at these in a while, but Ford was up around like $12 a share. And I think even I think even Caterpillar doubled. So it's yeah, that inaction sucked. I would have, probably made 10 times my money real easy and turned 5 into 50. The other one was, I want to say it was probably in 2010, 2011. I had a friend contact me and he was talking about Bitcoin. Now, at this point in time, I kind of was going through, it was when my depression was hitting really, really high. And I, to a degree, blew them off because of stuff that happened in my personal life. But I regret not taking a little bit of time to look into it. Because if you look up the historical prices back then, it was basically trading at a dime. And all he was asking for, he said I could go anywhere between $100 and $500. And even $100 worth of Bitcoin at 10 cents a share would be 1,000 Bitcoins. And when that cracked $60,000 a piece, let's just say that I wouldn't need to work today. This would be the type of thing I would do for work because I like reaching people. It's not just that this is therapy. I've started to realize I like reaching people. I've always liked making people smile. Maybe it's a little bit of that meme from, maybe that was a quote. I don't even know if that was a quote from Robin Williams, but after he committed suicide, there was a meme that came out. It was a picture of Robin Williams, and it basically said, the ones that are the saddest always work the hardest to make others smile because they know how bad it hurts, how bad it sucks to be down and be low. And maybe that's a part of it, but otherwise, even when I wasn't low, I still enjoyed making people smile. That's why DJing at the nightclub was, it was fun to me for the most part. Was there headaches? Yeah. I mean, if you find somebody who tells you there's no headaches in your job, I think you found somebody that's delusional, or I don't know. I mean, there's negatives to every job. It's just the nature of the beast. There's always going to be certain things that you don't like doing. But, anyways, back on point. Go back to this list here. Number 24. It doesn't have to be perfect for it to be wonderful. I'm going to say that one again because that one's a real easy one to miss in life, especially for me personally, because perfection isn't attainable, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try, is one that I've said more than once. And truth be told, yeah, I need to start looking at the imperfect things and seeing the beauty in them. But to say it again, it does not have to be perfect for it to be wonderful. Number 25, when in doubt, love. We can always use more love. Number 26, and this is one that kind of hit home for me because working from home, I don't do this as much as I probably should. Looking presentable is a matter of self-respect. Yes, I need to shave. I need a shower. So yeah, I need to do better on that one. Daily, even if it's just getting up and combing my hair, will make a difference. Number 27. When you're feeling down, when you're feeling low, smile at yourself in the mirror for a full minute. You may feel like a damn fool doing it, but I don't even need to go and do this one right now or this morning or after this video to know it works. There's science behind it, and it was just considered common sense once upon a time. Number 28. Travel as much as you can. Collect one token from every trip to remember it by. Experience the world. There's a lot of amazement out there, folks. Number 29. If there's something bothering you, oh, excuse me. Sorry, the carbonation from the Red Bull getting me. If there's something bothering you, ask yourself whether it'll matter in 1 month. If not, let it go right now. Why hold on to it? There's 86,400 seconds in a day. Why throw 86,390 of them away for 10 bad ones? I had previously coined something that I kind of taught to the kids as the rule of 5. If it's not going to matter in 5 minutes, let it go immediately. If it's not going to impact you in 5 hours, let it go immediately. If it's not going to be painful in 5 weeks, let it go. If it's not going to permanently damage you in 5 months, let it go. Now, there's more to it, and I actually have written it down somewhere. I'll dig it out at some point in time, but it was a little more verbose and a little more descriptive, but it's basically, the flip sides of the coins. If it is going to bother you in 5 hours, this is how you let it go now. And like I said, I will dig that out at some point, or I will rewrite it, and it'll be in a future video because it is, the rule of 5 is definitely worth having. And maybe somebody else has already coined it. I don't know. Number 30, and here's an absolutely massive one for me. Stop trying to change people who don't want to be changed. My ex-wife. Yes, without even realizing it, Lisa. I've always kind of tried to be the patron saint of lost causes, I guess. I've always tried to bring people back from the brink. Maybe it's just because I've been at the brink so much in my life. I've been to the point where I was staring at that precipice, thinking about ending my life. So I truly know what it means to be alone. Maybe that's why. And I don't think it means those people. Those people I'm still going to be there for. I will always be there for. I've been through too much shit in my life alone to ever turn my back on a friend. Even if it's a friend I just met. There's no reason for somebody to go through something alone. But on the flip side of that coin, I know with my ex, I tried to help her be a better mother. Help her show the kids that what they thought mattered to her. That to meet them on their terms, so to speak. And through all even my bad years, I still did that, I remember playing Ultimate Frisbee with the oldest. More so, I just remember going for a drive, listening to music, you know. The youngest of the three older boys, I remember, sports being how we connected. My regret is that the middle of the three, we didn't really connect over anything. That sucks. But, yeah. But don't try to change the people who don't see the wrong in their actions. Eventually, those people will figure it out, or they'll die as miserable old pricks. Either way, at least you won't have wasted your time on a lost cause. And it's sad, but sometimes those lost causes are the people closest to us. That being said, you can always be there waiting, hoping for the day that they're finally ready to be changed and want to be changed. But yeah, I guess no more lost causes for me. If somebody wants to change, I'll meet them halfway, but I ain't going all the way there trying to drag their ass anymore. Number 31. You may win an argument, but if you lose a friend, what was the point? Number 32. Stubborn pride is the downfall of many men and women. Learn to forget the small hurts and avoid grudges. Number 33. Do one thing that challenges your mind every single day. A crossword puzzle, a math problem. Doing a daily mental exercise will keep your mind sharp for the long haul. Number 34. If something isn't working and your gut tells you to try harder, first ask whether there's just an easier way to do it. That's common sense right there. See, I'm reading these ones live. I had read the list up to that point in advance before I decided to make the video, but I'm reading these ones live. Number 35. And as a parent, this one is hard to do. I've had to learn to do it and when not to do it and when to just let go. But allow your kids to fail. You will hate it, but it is very important. Nobody says you can't be there to help pick them up after they fall, but you got to let them fall sometimes. It's the only way you really learn things, certain things in life. Number 36. There's nothing wrong with shedding old relationships as you grow and change. And I'll add on evolve. I like the word evolve because I feel that I've done it a couple times. Maybe I'm a Pokemon. I'm going to go into my next evolution soon, and I'm starting to feel it again. Number 37. No amount of money is ever worth trading for your peace of mind. Yep. Lots of people do that. It's not worth it. Number 38. If your kid wants to dance in line at the store, join them. Why not have a little more fun in the world? Maybe make somebody smile. What's the harm in that? Number 39. Smile and say good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever, to strangers on the street. Never a bad time to do a kind thing. Number 40. Laugh loudly and unapologetically whenever you feel like it. Definitely like that one. That was a great place for this list to end. That's a big one. But you know, I don't think there's anybody anywhere near 90 who watches this. But as a wise man once told me, um, you should always listen to ideas from every source because even an idiot might get it right sometimes. That being said, I got a couple of things I'm just going to pop up on screen here because they're things I found recently again for the first time in a while that resonate with me. And I think my screen went silly and changed its properties again. Yes, it did. When he hits his knees, do not mistake the event for weakness. He is a warrior with immense strength. Until someone he loves has been hurt, rest assured, once he has formulated his battle plan, he will rise. When he does, the earth will tremble. I need to remember that once upon a time, I really and truly felt the lyrics to Princes of the Universe. Here we are, born to be kings. We're the princes of the universe. That part, and then the part when it goes into the rock section. I am immortal. I have inside me blood of kings. I have no rival. No man can be my equal. Once upon a time, I truly felt like that. And you know, I think I'm ready to feel like that again. Darn it, I was really hoping I could just drag it up there and pop it in there because this is the second one. This is actually just a screen snip I took from his Facebook page. I don't even know how long ago, but obviously you can see this man on the left, this man on the right. They're one and the same. The process to get from here to there, as it says, isn't a highlight reel with some motivational music in the background. It isn't Rocky. This is real life, you know. Although Rocky does get the part right about how hard life can hit. The realness is the battles in the dark in your mind that most or nobody knows about. You can have a blueprint to take you from A to Z, but there's no magical path that stops life from punching you in the face while you're at it. Put your goal on paper, burn it into your mind, put in the work, and one way or another, the results will come. Never done, always working. I hear you, beast. That's another one that it hits home with me. It's something that I really and truly need to. I need to do. I need to put that goal on paper. I need to. I need to find the motivation for doing it right. I just found a couple of pictures from me when I was at my worst, which the sad truth of it is I'm not far off that now. Not even sure I want to pop them up. It's the real truth. Just looking through because I swear there was another one I had. Oh, there was one. I used to have one from Dr. Disrespect, who's a streamer. Another streamer, Dakota's, was talking about his struggles with weight loss. And what was it? How did he put it? God, I wish I could find this one because it was just like all too perfect. Um, Damn, I really wish I could find that one. But honest, it was basically something to the effect of the body is controlled by the mind and own that shit. And oh, God, like I said, I wish I could find it. I'm looking through some old folders from stuff because I know it was something I had on my phone at one point in time. And I got a couple of folders that were just stuff from the phone. I just haven't sorted, you know, because there's stuff like that in it. And there's other stuff that's like, you know, I just found some that's some food porn for some stuff that we made. We do some pretty bomb food. I ain't gonna lie. No, it's not that one though. Let's check this last one. Oh, Gorg. Oh wait, it does sort. Drat. It doesn't sort the way I'd hoped. Oh God, I need to go through and clean out pictures. I got so many from when I used to do mystery shopping and when I used to do lots of tech jobs and stuff. There's just so freaking many that I can get rid of from all that crap. I mean, now granted, there's a lot that I can't get rid of that are stuff like Christmas and stuff like that. But definitely, definitely really wish I could find that one from Doctor Disrespect because it was just, it was so good. It was so like, it just, you know, it hit on a different level, and I just cannot for the life of me find it. That's so such a bummer. I might actually spend some time today truly looking for it because I swore I had just thrown it in this folder. This I have a generic sort me folder that I haven't went through yet, and I swore I threw it in there, but I can't find it, and that is such a bummer. Like I said, it was so good. It was the way it was worded was just so perfect. It just resonated, and it, you know, can't even paraphrase it. It's so disappointing to me that I can't even paraphrase it. I really thought at least I'd be able to spit a little something out for it. Well, since I found this picture of me at my best, I guess I will show me at my worst and me at my best. Um, just gotta get the other picture I was talking about because I think it shows it. Well, here goes. And I'm cropping one of the kids out of it. It's technically the oldest boy. There I am. I don't know how much I weighed. Truth be told, looking at myself, I think I weigh more now than I did then. I mean, maybe not. Just trying to judge by the fatness in my face, and now, who am I kidding? I know I weighed more then. I was the worst number I ever saw on the scale was 423.9, and I know that it didn't stop there because that's back when I used to go to the casino all the time with my ex-wife. And to finish out the night, the meal would be usually we'd split a bowl of chili with an order of chips. We ate the chili using chips as dip, dippers. And they were homemade fried chips there, so I'm sure that makes them slightly greasier than mass-produced ones. But anyways, bowl of chili with homemade chips. Then I'd usually get a full entree size salad and then a full entree. So yeah, I definitely way overate, and like I said, 423.9 is just the worst that I actually saw. I kept at that stupidity for months. Um, this picture of me, I know I was already over 400 pounds at this point, easily, probably even more than that. But that's from 2013 when he graduated. I didn't even remotely really wake up until sometime in 2015. So the real truth of it is, I may have been as high as 450 at my worst. I don't know. Um, this next one about showing me is kind of a little blurry, but there's not much I can do about it. Combination of the camera that it was taken with, as well as yeah. Anyways, number one horrible picture, and there's number two. Oh, I need to move that. There we go. Oh, well, that was a mistake, but oh well. As you can see, I was that guy. Then, believe it or not, I turned into that guy. That's me at around 270. Not just that I was around 270, but I had actually gained a decent amount of muscle. You know, you can see how much thinner my face was, how much better I looked. You know, even here's another one where I had gained some of the way back, but even then I was still probably 290-ish. You can see the difference in my face. If nothing else, you can see it there. Thought I had just seen another one. Maybe it was in one of these folders. Me when I met Robert Irvine, I was probably a little over 3 at that point. That's after I had gained some back. One of the worst decisions I ever made in my life on that one. There was one other one I thought I had just seen. I thought I had seen the one from just after I moved down here. And here's another one of me, horrible. But then here's another one of me at nearly, well, I may have been at my best at that point. I think I look horrible just because the angle, and I mean, God, I look like the frickin', I look like the thing off in Star Wars that sells them they bet with to win Anakin's freedom. I can't think of its name right now, but yeah, that guy, I look like that. It's just horrible. And I may have found the right folder for that picture now. Give me just a second. Oh, that's still in New York. Hold on for a minute. I'm going to shut this share off. So I just want to double check. I found a copy of the picture, but there's some text on it from, I just want to make sure what it says. That's what I thought it said. This is when, before I moved into my house, this was the trailer we were living in. But yeah, even then when I moved down here, you can tell that I'm definitely thinner here than I am now, which when we moved down here, I was probably just a little over 3. And then combination of things caused it to get here. A lot of it being my own stupidity. But yeah, now I guess I've shown me at my worst and at my best, and now I know I'm not at my worst. I just also know that I'm far closer to it than I'd like to be. And it's time to change that. It's time to get on the kids' case about making excuses. And it's definitely time to stop making excuses. Something I've really been pushing with my son, my youngest son, is owning your actions. And I have been excusing mine. And I need to just not do that ever again. I am so much more than I have been. How can I preach to them to do something that I'm not doing myself? Turns me into the thing that one of the things I hate the most. It's not the thing I hate the actual most, but it's definitely up there, and that is a hypocrite. I'd say liars and thieves are higher on the list of things I hate than hypocrites, but I don't like hypocrisy at all. I never have liked hypocrisy. So, yeah. My next video, I'm going to do it in a little bit here. I got a meeting coming up I need to handle first. But my next video, I'm going to, before I do it, I'm going to have figured out my plan. And by that I mean the broad strokes plan for how to get myself on the right track. Sorry. Apparently, I'm boring myself even, or I'm just exhausted. But yeah, I'm going to kind of figure out when to do certain things, and by that I mean I'm gonna figure out when I'm actually gonna work out during the day, because as I said, first thing in the morning isn't gonna work for a little while. I need to get myself started. I need to start rolling the ball down the hill. Excuse me. And that's not going to work if I have to fight uphill against 14 different things to get it started down the hill. I hate mornings. I'm never going to be a morning person. I've talked to my daughter about this because of her difficulties with getting out of bed and not being stupid and lazy like she was this morning. But yeah, I'm gonna have that figured out, and I'm gonna lay it all out. I know only a few people watch the videos right now, but even just one is enough for me to hold myself accountable to. Truth be told, I'm gonna hold myself accountable to this guy right here, and to my kids, but mainly myself. That being said, excuse me. I'll also talk about it in the video and then talk about how I'm doing daily. And that'll help. But anyways, I've probably rambled long enough. And I mean, I hope the video was worthwhile. That list definitely had a lot that resonated with me on it. And taking the plunge to show what I have been, both good and bad in my life as far as my weight loss goes, that was an important one for me. That was needed. I will throw in there right now that the fellow you saw in those good pictures was sleeping maybe 6 to 7 hours a night. A lot of nights, 4 to 5, and I was fine. My resting heart rate was usually, excuse me, in the low 50s, 52, 53. Right now it's 82. So it's time.